All right, so we're going to be looking today at some street concepts for stand-up grappling, particular moves that you don't normally get to do in sparring. Things like headbutts, eye gouges, bites, elbows, all the sorts of things that you can't normally do, and the Krav Maga guys say makes them super deadly. So here's the problem. If you don't ever do it in sparring or real fighting, you'll never become a master at it. So if you want to become a master at headbutts, boom, you've got to go actually fight in left way or combat sambo. If you want to become a master of landing elbows on people, you've got to actually go fight professional Muay Thai or left way or MMA where elbows are allowed. If you want to actually become expert at gouging people's eyes out or biting their thumbs off, maybe better go to prison. But the good news is, if you want to understand these things well enough to make it really hard for somebody to do all these things to you, the foundations are there in your jiu-jitsu, in your wrestling. The good habits that make you better at wrestling and better at jiu-jitsu will make it harder for someone to headbutt you, will make it harder for someone to eye gouge you, make it harder for someone to bite you, make it harder for someone to elbow you. So we're going to be looking at those today. We're going to be looking at the principles, how we use them in our regular, safe jiu-jitsu practice where no one goes home with concussions or missing joint fingers. And we're going to do some drills to tie it all together. Before we get into specific exercises for headbutts, I'd like to review some concepts regarding head position for those of you who are not experienced wrestlers or grapplers. Head position is a hugely important consideration in any kind of grappling, particularly for clinch and takedown work. A useful warm-up we do sometimes is to start forehead to forehead with our hands behind our back and move around with our partner, attempting to achieve a superior head position. For purposes of this drill, a superior head position could mean getting your head underneath and past your opponent's head to his chest, or it could mean getting to an angle so that your forehead is pressing to the side of their face. Here, Troy has got an advantageous head position. He is coming into my face from the side, and in a real situation, this would give him superior control and the chance to set up a takedown. Let's look at some examples of how that advantage could play out. Here, I have got an inside body lock in Troy and have placed my head underneath his chin, forcing him to look upwards. In this position, I will have an easy time taking him down, and he will have a difficult time countering or escaping the position. Now let's reverse the head position. I still have my inside body lock, which should be to my advantage, but Troy has his head underneath my chin, and as a result, I am unable to make any effective use of my body lock to take him down. Even if I was much stronger, his head position would negate my ability to accomplish much here. Let's look at another position. I have my forehead pressed into the side of Troy's face. I'm controlling his neck with my right arm, and my left arm has an underhook underneath his near arm. My head and arm work together to prevent him from being able to turn back and square up with me. From this position, I have a lot of takedowns I can execute. In this case, I demonstrate a simple knee tap. Head height is another important factor. If we are looking to shoot for a low takedown entry, such as a single or double leg, then getting below the barrier of the opponent's head is important. Here, Troy gets his head lower than mine and can enter for a single leg. But now, I adjust my head to change level with him and prevent this entry. One important tool for controlling your opponent's head position is the collar tie. With the collar tie, I place my forearm as a frame against my partner's chest and collarbone while grasping the back of his head with that same hand. My arm acts as a frame so my opponent cannot come closer. At the same time, my hand on the back of his head makes it difficult for him to pull away or maintain good posture. Now, often grappling would end up in a neutral position where each partner has one collar tie, giving each person some ability to control the other's movement. A more dominant option is the double collar tie. Muay Thai practitioners will be familiar with this position. Here I have a double collar tie in Troy, giving me the leverage to control his head, break his posture, throw knees, or snap him down into a headlock. If you are a grappler, these sort of considerations, controlling your opponent's head and making sure that your head is in an advantageous position relative to his, should be drilled until they are completely instinctual. Now on to the headbutts. So first, headbutts. In order to headbutt someone effectively, I need to have hard parts of my head lined up with soft parts of his. Well, this should take you back to the drill we were doing in the beginning of class. We are working our wrestling, trying to get a superior position. The heads. This is fundamental to jiu-jitsu, it's fundamental to wrestling. Having your head in a superior position makes your throws work better, it makes your ground control work better, it makes it harder for people to do things to you. So by the same token, if I have a dominant head position, he cannot headbutt me. If he has a dominant head position, not only could he headbutt me, but also he's in a good position to take me down. Yeah, that head's going to work for him. So we're going to put some drills together so you understand how headbutts can happen. And then we're going to start fitting into some live drills that we can do safely, and you'd see where the headbutts would happen. First, earlier we were working just pummeling for collar control. This is a normal sort of warm-up drill. But if I wanted to headbutt Jeff, right now this would be a really bad position for me. I just break my own face on it. So the action, see, I'm already swinging in, trying to get double collar ties, doing the same thing here. If I swim in, I push his head back, so instead of grabbing the back of his head, I push his face back, I drop my body down, so my head is underneath his. My spine is lined up with my head. And the action, I'm going to move his head to the side. But that would be through down there. So that is the mechanism. Do not do like the movies where boom, because all he just lowers his head slightly. I broke my own face. You want to be underneath him, your spine lined up, driving up. So we're going to do drill. We're going to do our regular collar type palming, and every so often I'm going to slide that in, show where I do headbutt. I am not going to headbutt my partner for real. I can come over to the side, I could just show, but remember, there's your power from the legs. Right. And we both can do this back and forth, have a little awareness so both of you aren't trying at the same time. We have a partner, give it a shot. Any questions? Let's get it go. How we can get this headbutt off of our regular pummeling. Because we're always trying to get this double inside control anyway. It's good for Muay Thai, good if I want to snap them down for a takedown. It's a superior control position. So we practice this all the time anyway. But now we're saying while we're doing that, at some point, if I win that battle, the headbutt is there. So now we're going to do two things. One, we're going to add foot movement. Go ahead, we're pummeling, we're moving, pushing, pulling, just getting the realistic motion, and there's your headbutt. So we'll drill that for a bit. And then the next bit we're going to do is we're going to go back to some of our regular, just sort of freestyle grappling and wrestling for superior takedown position. So we're here, we're wrestling, trying to get him out tied, arm drag to the back. What I want you to do, as always, we're watching our head position because we would like to have the superior head position that we can use to set up our throws or takedowns. But as we're doing it, I want you to be aware of, if you weren't just placing, if we were hitting where you could have just gotten headbutt in your face if your partner wasn't being a nice guy, and where you could have done the same thing to your partner if he wasn't being a nice guy. So those are the two drills we're going to do. Got it? Let's go.